Humpback whales. They're big, beautiful, and absolutely breathtaking. And whether they're humming mysterious songs that carry thousands of miles through the open sea, working as a team to surround, trap, and consume massive quantities of krill and fish in mouths wide enough to swallow a small car, or breaching their 40-foot, 40-ton bodies into the air, they are among the most fascinating creatures on Earth. But a humpback's astounding physical attributes are much more than highlights in a nature documentary. You see, their ability to thrive in a liquid universe represents a significant challenge to Darwinian evolution and materialistic accounts for the existence of complex life.
You look at its features, it's warm-blooded, it has mammary glands, it's clearly a mammal. So here's a classic evolutionary problem. How do you get a fully aquatic mammal that spends its whole life from birth to death in the water? What's the best explanation for what I see?
The Darwinian explanation for whale evolution is familiar. Long ago in the prehistoric past, a four-legged terrestrial mammal, the size of a wolf or sheep, underwent a series of gradual biological changes over millions of years.
The standard textbook account I take to be artistic license. When you look at the problem of being a land mammal that finds itself, speaking loosely, in an aquatic environment, and you've got to conduct your everything there, including reproduction, you have to have the coming together of a number of adaptations, and that is unfathomably complicated.
When we consider just a few of these specific anatomical changes, complicated is an understatement. The animal would have needed a drastic remodel of its skull to move the nostrils to the top of its head, the conversion of front legs into flippers, a reconstruction of the skeleton, including a ball joint that allowed the tail to move up and down, the transformation of a few dozen teeth into hundreds of plates lined with brush-like fibers, the reorganization of kidney tissues to accommodate the intake of salt water, lungs vastly enlarged and renovated to withstand the intense pressure of deep dives, the inclusion of a blubber layer for insulation in cold water, and modifications of ears, eyes, and skin to work effectively in an aquatic environment.
Just think of all the parameters that would have to be modified, and then multiply that by, I don't know, 1,000-fold or more than that. That's the scale of the problem that you're dealing with.
So how do evolutionary biologists explain the chain of enormous physical adaptations that could, theoretically, result in this dramatic makeover?
Using a Darwinian framework, if you look at what natural selection requires, its raw materials are undirected or random mutations, changes in the genetic material that will change the way the organism develops. There's a step-by-step scenario that's got to be worked out where undirected changes in DNA are modifying development, which is changing the anatomy of a land-dwelling creature into something that can survive all the time in water. Those mutations are occurring without any regard for what's out there in the environment. They're accidents in the genetic material. So really, in no way can the environment channel those accidents. They just happen.
To make this hypothesis even more unlikely, Keep in mind that beneficial mutations are extremely rare, and when they do occur, they must work together in close coordination with other random mutations to bring about any positive change in an organism. Here's one example.
So let's imagine that the transformation you wish to achieve is transforming a leg from a terrestrial mammal into the flipper of a fully aquatic mammal like a dolphin or a whale. Now, we look at our set of mutations that are required. Let's say we've got A that's going to affect the bones. But you think about your own limb, it's not just bones. There are muscles and tendons and nerves and associated behaviors. So you look down your list of mutations and you go, well, I've got A starting my transformation, but I need B, C, D, E, and F as well. So the challenge of cooperative mutations is to have these events occur in space and time in such a way that they can jointly work together, cooperate, to bring about the transformation that you need. But you know what? Those mutations, they're accidents in the genetic material. So you're essentially relying on luck. And odds are you're going to miss the target by a mile.
Research now indicates that it would take at least 100 million years to randomly generate just one single pair of cooperative mutations in a population of large mammals. Yet scientists still argue that given enough time, any biological transformation is possible.
Faced with a problem like the origin of a humpback whale, even if I grant you millions and millions of years, 5, 10, 50, 100 million years to bring about this transformation, you still face these very real limits of population size, mutation rate, generation time, and the number of features that have to be modified. If the process in question is not going to happen, it's not going to happen, and it really doesn't matter how much time you have. So have all the time you want. If this transition occurred, it did not occur by an undirected Darwinian process. That simply is not possible biologically.
Darwinism provided an explanation for the appearance of design and argued that there is no designer, or if you will, the designer is natural selection. If that's out of the way, if that just does not explain the evidence, then the flip side of that is, well, things appear designed because they are designed. And those designs simply seem too efficient and too optimum to have been cobbled together by some haphazard mechanism. And in evolutionary terms, it's kind of game over.